Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fortress of Comic News, episode 416. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside my co-host here, Mike. How we doing, Mike?
Pretty good. We got David A. Byrne on the show. It's only been 4 years since we talked about Steak previously. Now we're going to talk about it again. The vampire social media, vampire hunting, vampire working with sensation. So, issue 7's on Kickstarter right now. I'm going to chat about that in a little bit.
It was funny when I was booking him. I posted something in Discord when we were talking, and I was like, got him to come on the show and everything. And I was like, in my head, thinking he's been on the show a few times. And I started looking back once, 4 years ago.
Once, 4 years ago. I know it's hard to. When we're in the 400s now, so it's really.
It's tough.
Yeah,
like, there's so many people, and I am the most forgetful person on the planet. It's amazing that this operation runs, Mike. But we get it going.
I mean, we have a whole year of. I mean, if you listened to one interview a day, you could go through a whole year of interviews.
I still have some left over.
It still have some left over. Oh God. Yeah. So if you're catching up, good luck. We almost have as many episodes as One Piece. People say no, we don't. Not even close. Sorry.
No, that'll never. No.
Not even close.
When will they find the One Piece? And is the One Piece the friendships they made along the way, Mike?
It really, you have to look inside yourself for that One Piece. Yeah, and it's cardiovascular disease.
All 5 of the One Piece fans that are listening right now are so mad that I made that joke.
Hell yeah! One Piece fans are actually pretty cool. From what I've seen.
I know online there's a thing where people are saying like that's going to be the One Piece. It's the friends you made along the way, and it makes One Piece fans.
They still haven't
really
found
mad.
the One Piece? I didn't know that.
Not that I'm aware of. I mean,
oh wow, okay.
I have a couple connections to the One Piece universe. My nephew is really into it. And then my girlfriend enjoys it as well, but they have not informed me that they've found the One Piece.
Damn, still looking to this day.
I'm looking. I want to know what the One Piece is because I'm not watching the shit. I'm just gonna tell you all right now.
A lot of episodes. Let's move to some other universes, dude. We got a Naked Gun trailer this week. I'll take things I never thought I would have saw this week for like 800, Alex. And also things I thought that I wouldn't have expected that I also really enjoyed for 800. I'm a huge fan of the Naked Gun movies. Leslie Nielsen is hilarious. Just
as am I.
Yeah,
Naked Gun, Airplane, all those old Leslie Nielsen movies are some like my favorite things growing up. So,
that trailer was so funny. I don't think I've seen Liam Neeson in a comedy. Have you?
He's done comedic roles before.
Yeah,
he always plays it very. He's the straight man, which. Yeah. Leslie Nielsen did to a point as well.
Right,
so
and
I think
he started goofing around. The fact that he's like his son, the scene with all the sons, like from the original movie, and then you have OJ. OJ.
Oh hell no!
Oh hell no! And I knew right away if you've seen the old Naked Gun movies, I knew right away when the Girl Scout walked in that it was going to be him in disguise. Everybody knew. If you're a fan of those movies, you know it's going to happen. It was hilarious. And then it made me think like we haven't gotten like comedy in the movie theater, like big comedy in a while.
Big budget comedy has been a dead concept for a while now.
So I'm hoping this might reignite it. I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
I hope so. I mean, listen, I'm worried because like I'm a huge Naked Gun fan.
Yeah.
But I will go and see it in the theaters just for no other reason to support the idea of big budget comedy again.
Right.
And when I say big budget comedy, I think people know what I mean. Like 40-Year-Old Virgin was big budget comedy. That movie cost like $20 million.
Yeah.
Or I don't know the exact number. Yeah, The Hangover didn't cost that much compared to like the Avengers.
Right.
But they just don't do it anymore. And it's just kind of, you see it on Netflix and other things, but I don't know. It's just different now. And I would love to see it come back. And I would love to see Naked Gun come back as a good movie because all that movie really was a 80s cop movie but with Leslie Nielsen saying the most ridiculous shit with a straight face, and it worked.
Like
I would, dude, it's the simplest joke, but I think it's in the second movie where they're driving down the street and he's like, everything I see makes me think of her, and it just shows 2 spherical domes in the distance. And I'm like, it's such a great joke, but it's so simple.
He never cracks a smile, and I think Liam Neeson is going to nail that. So
yeah, so I have big hopes, and then like Seth MacFarlane is wrote and produced it, so there's a lot of good talent there.
Mm-hmm.
I have hopes, but at the same time, I'm worried.
Yeah.
I
really enjoyed the trailer. Then they dropped the new Tron Ares trailer. First off, I had forgotten 9 Inch Nails or Trent Reznor was doing the soundtrack. That soundtrack slaps.
Yeah.
In that trailer, that is a good follow up to how do you follow up to Daft Punk doing Tron Legacy? You get 9 Inch Nails involved. I think the trailer was really cool until I saw Jared Leto's face. I don't know if it's just like I have such disdain for him lately. I'm gonna watch the movie. I love Tron. I love that universe. It is the shtick or the trope of like, oh, now Tron is leaking into our world. Now it's a war of the worlds. You know, that scene with the light cycle slicing the car in half was pretty dope.
It's funny to me that we've gotten a few comments about our Jared Leto hate.
Oh, really?
That people are like, you need to watch something other than Suicide Squad.
It's
like, that ruined him for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I've watched, so I will say, okay. It's not Jared Leto hate. I enjoyed Jared Leto. I think he was in Lord of War. And then he was all right in Blade Runner 2099, right? 2049. I just combined the Marvel and Blade Runner universes. Blade Runner 2099.
Oh, gee. Yeah, it's See, I never saw that.
2049. He was good in that.
When you go down his list of movies, I will tell you what I've watched, and this is why, like, I fully admit that my Jared Leto hate is like unfounded, but it's just because the things I've seen him in are so bad that it drives me up a wall.
I think he's yet to have a hit lately.
He has these weird like, and he's like people say like, oh, he's in Fight Club or he's in but he's like he's like the background character of background characters before he became something.
Right.
I've seen Suicide Squad, the Snyder Cut of the Justice League, which yay, and Morbius. Those are the movies I've seen with him in it.
Morbin time.
And those are 3 awful fucking movies. So at least I thought they were awful.
Yeah.
So that's where I come from.
I'm not going to say he's going to ruin the movie.
This is my issue. I've always loved Tron as a concept. I think the 80s movie is actually like a fun experiment for the time. It's not a great movie. Right. And then the one they tried to do recently kind of hit in certain ways and failed in other ways.
Mm-hmm.
This concept of like, now the Tron universe is coming to the real world. You failed the concept, which is the reason why I like these movies, this world to begin with.
You're on the grid.
Yeah. And like, what better time than now to do that concept?
I know.
I almost think they should have just rebooted it and said, let's start over and make it kind of a modern, a kid gets sucked in, or a person gets sucked into the grid, and let's take it from there. Where they're still trying to like get it in with the old movie and these comics they made,
you
and
have
some video game they did, and
you have the voice of Jeff Bridges talking like in the trailer too, I believe. So.
It's so funny that Jeff Bridges is still part of it, but
which
I'll check it out because, like I said, I've always liked the concept of Tron.
I think Jeff Bridges is going to be part of it as like an AI where you don't ever see him; it's just his voice. Like,
I'm trying to remember the last movie. Wasn't he? Didn't he end up being the bad guy in the last movie?
Yeah, he was the bad guy. He was like a CGI face of his.
So it's probably gonna be him, and Jared Leto's gonna be the good guy who goes into the grid and uses their ways to fight them in the real world.
It doesn't talk about any of the previous characters in Tron. Like, I guess we'll just wait and see. I mean, the visuals look cool. The music looks cool. All we saw was Jared Leto's face. So I am optimistic. I do want to really enjoy this movie.
I want to enjoy a Tron movie more than I do. It's not that they're bad. It's just I think they have a really great concept here, and they never get it all the way.
While promoting the new movie, The Accountant 2, which I just watched the first account last week. Again, I really like that movie.
I need to watch that movie. I heard it's good.
It's really good. Ben Affleck does a great job. John Bernthal, who plays his brother. Oh, sorry. I think that's a spoiler. Sorry.
I saw the trailer for it. It's in the trailer, so I think it's a spoiler.
John Bernthal revealed that he's co-writing the Punisher special that Disney's working on. Yeah, that's pretty cool that he has a hand in the character. I have seen that people at cons have him sign their comic books and stuff like that because I think he has such a passion for the character itself and Punisher in general. So,
well, I give him credit because I guess, well, first he has this quote that he says after he's like, "I'm doing this." I've said it a million times. Frank is in my bones, is in my heart. I care about him. He obviously does care about this character. Right. And I give him credit because when Disney wanted to do the Daredevil Born Again, they gave him, this is what we're going to do with Punisher. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to speculate too much, but I'm sure we could all think of what they wanted to do with Punisher originally. And he was the one that said, like, I'm not doing this. Right. So if you're doing it, you're doing it without me. You're rebooting Punisher, basically. Mm-hmm. And he stood by his guns so much that they rewrote the whole thing, made that scene that we saw a few weeks back, which was one of the best scenes of the show so far.
Yeah,
and gave him his own special. So I just give him credit for sticking by his guns when he could have easily picked up another paycheck and probably been set for life.
Yeah.
And then he gets rewarded with this. Like, he obviously cares enough where he put his neck on the line, his paycheck on the line. And honestly, this is kind of giving him a resurgence. Like, he had a little bit of a buzz with Walking Dead and then died, really. I mean, he got the Punisher role and people liked him for that, but it was way more under the radar than a Punisher role should have been.
Right.
And now he's doing a fucking movie, Ben Affleck. And I know he's got other stuff on the horizon too. So good for him. And I look forward to this.
Yeah, he was really good in the first account. The fact that he's getting some resurgence here is really cool.
Oh, was he in the first movie too?
Yeah, he's in it. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
he's
that.
One of the,
okay.
Yeah, so that's why I said this because he's in the first one. He's really good, and yeah, I'm glad that he's getting involved. The Punisher and like you said, the Punisher scene is probably one of the best scenes of the show so far. So
I should probably give him more credit. He's been in a lot more stuff than I knew.
Yeah, he's popped up here and there.
He's in I still need to watch this movie, but there's that Sopranos movie that came out a few years back.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's in that.
Speaking of Daredevil, episode 7 came out.
I think we're on different sides of this, so I'm really interested in this conversation.
Yeah, I didn't really care for it.
I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's good parts and there's bad parts. I just don't. I mean, when I'm checking the time of the episode to see like when are we going to get Daredevil, that's usually not a good sign for me. Yeah, I just I don't know. There's a lot of I'm not really interested in the whole Fisk like talking about his business like it was a legit business when he was like this dude is literally a criminal. He's like, Daredevil ruined my business, and it's like, well, you were doing illegal stuff. Like, I don't come on, I don't feel bad for you. I don't find his wife that interesting, really. I don't really care for that side story of like, what she's doing, trying to turn people against. Like, I'm sure he's gonna have her killed at the end of the season. Like, I see that coming. But I just want more Daredevil in the suit. That's what I'm really in here for. But
I'm with you with more Daredevil in the suit. I'll always be with you on that. But I think we're getting to see Fisk's psychosis, where he firmly believes that he was running a legitimate business.
Yeah, like
it's not that he's trying to play anybody over. He firmly believes it.
Yeah.
And I thought that scene where they told him like Daredevil was at the Muse crime scene and everything, and you see how good of an actor, I forget his name now, but the guy playing Fisk
Vincent D'Fortino or whatever.
Yeah, he gives the slightest smirk, like the slightest one, as he's really like trying to be serious.
The actor's really good. Yeah,
yeah, and I loved that moment. I'm like, because in his heart, he's like, he feels like he did this thing to move on, and they both were moving on. But to see Daredevil back means that like, it's kind of like the Joker Batman thing we always talk about. Like they're the yin to the other's yang.
Yeah, for sure. And he knows that too, that like, oh, now that Daredevil's back, I'm back kind of thing.
The only thing I didn't understand was so we got the whole sequence with Muse. So Muse has been basically figured out, and the cops know where he is and everything. We got a little bit more with the task force. I thought they could have gone deeper into showing them being dirty. But we got that scene of them at the psychiatrist, and Muse basically being like, she's going to be my masterpiece or whatever. Right. This person who helped me become Muse. Yeah. And then they just kill him.
Yeah, then they just shoot him in the chest a bunch of times, yeah.
And I mean, I get they didn't give him any superpowers like he had in the comics, and I thought it was weird that they spent way too much time talking about him being like a Taekwondo champion or...
Yeah, it was like, he's Taekwondo. And then the part where Daredevil finds the paintings and he can tell that it's her face because he touched her face. I knew
that was a bit of a stretch. I'll give you that.
I was like, he can't see colors, so he really just feels bumps on the face.
To me, as a big Daredevil fan, I was like, that was a little bit.
Yeah, I know we do. We do comic book science all the time, so I'm not going to criticize that. But it was just really funny.
The better way to do it would have been for a business corrupt officers to notice it. Be like, oh, it's the same woman, and we did facial recognitions. It's so and so, and him to be up in the rafters and be like, fuck.
Or a business card with like raised text. Like you could feel the letters. Yeah, something like that.
But I could draw. Assuming I was a good artist, Mike, I could draw your face, and you could like put your hand over it. And it's different than like whatever.
Right. It was just comical to me, but other than that,
I give you that. There's some moments. I thought this episode as a whole was good. I thought we got enough Daredevil at the end that I was happy about it. And
I was really building myself up for oh shit, this is a Daredevil versus the thin black line squad. I thought we were gonna get he would have to fight his way down the hallway, like through the building. I think for me, when I accepted, sorry, you cut off there. I'm recording a little bit. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought was gonna happen was like he was gonna fight his way down the building with fists like Task Force. That's what I was like hoping for in the episode.
I think when I accepted that this was him slowly coming to terms with that Daredevil is like who he is, and that last episode solidified that he's there.
Yeah.
But now he's got to like hit these milestones, like his buddy the former cop getting mad at him about it. His partner at the law firm trying to figure out why stuff's going on. The issues with his girlfriend, like, I'm glad they did them quickly because they could have dragged those out and that would have been annoying. But I knew we were going to have to hit these moments. And then we got 2 more episodes to go. I'm sure the next 2 episodes are going to be Daredevil.
It's just fighting it out. I hope so. If that's it, then I'll feel a lot better.
And if not, I mean, it looks like season 2 is going to be a lot of Daredevil. So
I'll just have to wait.
But I thought it was what we did see. That fight sequence was great.
Yeah, that fight sequence was good with the Taekwondo master.
They
should have just called this guy Taekwondo Man and saved Muse for the next season.
I mean, other than the he didn't have superpowers, it was like very accurate to Muse and what he was doing. But
we got quite a bit of movie news this week. We both watched the Superman extended look. For those that you don't know, last week James Gunn shared a extended scene with Crypto the Superdog.
Did that happen at Cinecon along with all this other stuff?
CinemaCon, because they played the movie there too, which I hear was well received. I can never take those.
Yeah,
they've said that about every movie that comes out.
I'm sure we can find the article that says that Suicide Squad was well received.
So I don't take any. But him releasing, I think he kind of was tracking that, and so I was like, he's like, okay, let me release this scene that gives you a tone of the movie, which is like. To me, it's like a Crypto and Superman buddy cop movie, which is fine. And then you get to see the fortress of not comic news, but Solitude coming out of the ice. And then not K2SO4, but you still have Alan Tudyk voicing this robot. And like then the robots have like these personalities like, oh my God, I'm Superman, talk to me kind of thing. And then seeing the way they magnify the light, the sun to heal him, and then like shift the whole fortress. Just these little like details of like, oh yeah, James Gunn like understands and like brings like a new vision or like some new cinematic stuff that it's like, oh, instead of this like single shot of ice caverns, like they can rotate it like it's a living thing, you know, because we have the technology to do that now.
We have the technology.
And not make it look really bad. Yeah, and then we got some more hints of the score. There's a little bit more of like the original Superman score undertones in that, so I was really happy to see all that stuff. I was very happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, same. I don't have much to add. I think it's really good, and
yeah,
I like that it kind of clicked with me in that moment. And like I said to you off air, I think this has been done in the comics before, but as I said at the top of the show, I have the memory of a fucking goldfish, so it clicked with me as I was watching. I was like, oh, that's why he's on the North Pole, because he always has the sun.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Because that's how smart I am, everybody. You could have a comic book podcast too.
Yep. Yes, you could.
Yeah, so that's kind of when you have that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that moment was so important because it was kind of like, oh man, that's something I've either never seen before, I can't remember seeing before, and it's new and different and everything, but is good, as opposed to Martha, which was something I'd never seen before, but like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, right.
And that's the difference between James Gunn and like everybody else. Mm-hmm. So
no,
I'm really excited for this fucking movie. Really excited.
Yeah, I really love it. And like, that whole tone of like just being fun, you know, and has heart. It has heart and it's fun. Like
it has hope.
Yeah,
hope in its DNA, and that's what it needs.
Sony Pictures announced they're adapting Tom King's comic series Love Everlasting into a movie. They announced that Lenny Abrahamson is attached to direct, Jane Goldman is attached to write the script, Emma Watts and Ed Gein are producing. I never read this book. Did you?
No.
Okay. Didn't even know it was a thing.
First of all, it's a Tom King book.
Yeah, as a heroine begins in the mold of how women often are portrayed in romance comics, with a major goal to fall in love. Each time she reaches that plateau, she finds herself abruptly shifted into a new time period and setting with new obstacles that task to overcome them to fall in love with a different man. Oh, that sounds really interesting.
Well, it's also a new ongoing series in the tradition of Sandman and Saga.
And moving on. No, I mean, good for Tom King getting some chops in the big film industry. Not, you know, we might not enjoy Tom King's work that much. A lot of people do, and
we're hard in the minority on that one.
He's a great writer. So him getting involved in movies is not a bad thing, right? So good for him. I think that's awesome. Marvel Studios announced that this week Spider-Man 4 will be titled Spider-Man Brand New Day, the same title as the 2008 Spider-Man series from writer Dan Slott and artist Phil Jimenez. So what do you think about that, Chris?
I don't read Spider-Man, so I know that that's an important story arc for Spider-Man fans, because if I remember correctly, Mike, did you read Marvel Civil War?
Yes, a long time ago.
So that was the big revelation where the first time in Marvel history Spider-Man gave up his secret identity.
Mm-hmm.
Brand New Day was the retcon that he got his secret identity back.
Okay.
Or is no, I'm sorry, that's the book that comes after the retcon. So basically what happened in the last movie was based on the retcon, and then Brand New Day is the story after that retcon.
Okay, so
that makes sense.
We're kind of hitting in stride with the cinematic universe of like his identity crisis thing going on.
And there's a lot going on there where, from what I was reading a little bit of the synopsis of it, like I guess that's where they brought back Harry for the first time in however long, because he had canonically died in the comics. And they had done all this stuff to kind of revamp Spider-Man and give him a brand new day, if you will. So I see this as them continuing that retcon and kind of giving it its own refresh before he jumps back in with the rest of the Marvel Universe. Because if you remember, Nobody knows who Spider-Man is anymore. And I like the idea of Tom Holland got kind of a jump start with Spider-Man, where he was Tony Stark's little buddy.
Mm-hmm.
And now he gets a true Spider-Man who's just a guy out on his own trying to figure it out.
Right.
And we'll see what that entails. So I'm excited for this, but
it's exciting.
It's like 2 or 3 years away. So
yeah, we'll see. Tom Holland will be 40 years old.
What's not 2 or 3 years away though?
Yeah, that's true. Superman, July.
Also.
Yeah. And Fantastic Four. And
I'm trying to get you the next story.
Oh yeah. Also, yeah. Sorry. I'd rather talk about Fantastic Four than Thunderbolts, but Hasbro recently showed the new Thunderbolts Legends action figure line and spoiled a part of the movie. So Bob is going to be the Sentry, something that's been speculated since the role was cast by Steven Yeun. So is this a surprise to you? Probably not.
It's not a surprise to anybody.
Yeah.
I loved all the articles I read that were just like, they spoiled the movie. It's like, dude, we all knew this.
Yeah.
If you didn't know it, then I just don't know what you were doing. Like, as soon as they cast Steven Yeun, I think he came out and pretty much said he was playing the Sentry.
Yeah, right.
And then if you look at the trailer, I think it's pretty obvious that the villain's going to be the Void.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It's funny. I like the look because it's actually a pretty accurate Sentry look.
So Steven Yeun doesn't play the hero of the Sentry; he transforms into the Sentry.
Steven Yeun is no longer in the role.
Oh, okay.
Remember he dropped out.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bob,
I forget what the guy's name who's doing it now, but
yeah. We all. I mean, when the first trailer came out, we thought about he was the Sentry, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. We'll wait to see. This comes out soon, right?
Next month,
May,
I believe.
I think it's in May. So
Thunderbolts is coming out May 2nd.
Oh wow, less than a
free
month,
comic book
everybody.
day.
Hell yeah,
It's the free comic book day movie.
Perfect time to go.
Yeah.
Remember when we used to get Star Wars movies around then, or Star Wars shows?
You could just say, remember when we used to get Star Wars movies?
Remember when we used to get Star Wars in general?
Remember when Disney was like, hey, let's not put out a Star Wars movie on Christmas Day or Christmas week, because why would we do that? Let's instead put one out on Christmas Day and then 3 months later put another one out and then complain that it failed.
Yeah.
Because we put 2 Star Wars movies within 3 months of each other.
Oh, they like them so much, Chris. We'll just do 2 within a quarter.
Because we don't want to do early in the year. We don't want to do the Christmas movie anymore. You were literally breaking records with these.
I know.
Okay, I'm going to go on a rant.
Yep.
Let's talk about Kilmer.
Yeah, so I'm sure everybody heard that Val Kilmer passed last week. Really young age of 65 from pneumonia. He had struggled with throat cancer and things like that. He's known for his role as Iceman in Top Gun, Batman in Batman Forever. This dude had a lot of iconic roles. Prince of Egypt, The Doors biopic. But more importantly, Doc Holliday in Tombstone. One of the most quotable movies and characters of all time. I'll be your Huckleberry.
A movie I've not seen in so long.
Dude, I gotta rewatch Tombstone. It's so fucking good. And that cast. So if you've never seen Tombstone, watch it, because that's probably one of Val Kilmer's best performances, I think. Doc Holliday is the best part of that movie.
Is Tombstone streaming somewhere?
I don't know. It's probably like $15 now because everybody wants to watch it. That's how it happens. It goes to rent only.
You can watch it on.
Yeah.
Somewhere. I don't know how I trust this. It says Hulu, Disney Plus, and Amazon Prime.
Maybe for rent. We'll have to.
Well, no, it says with subscription.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I can confirm you can watch it on Amazon Prime.
Cool.
Let's see about Disney Plus. Am I logged in on this on Disney Plus?
Yeah.
Yes, Chris is watching. Yes, you can watch it on Disney Plus as well.
Such a random movie to have on Disney Plus.
There you go.
We'll have Marvel, Star Wars, and Tombstone. You can watch Beauty and the Beast and Tombstone with the family. I watched Tombstone when I was a kid, and it changed my life.
Same, and I think that's the last time I've watched it too. Which
yeah. We're back.
And Mike, I have a new co-host.
There's a co-host. Ahsoka is on the show today. She's such a dainty kitty.
She's so tiny.
So small. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the show, Ahsoka, the first time on camera since Chris has adopted her. She's so cute. This will drive you to go to the YouTube page now if you want to see. You want to see the cat. You can only hear me talking about the cat.
She really wants to walk on the keyboard.
Yeah, don't do that. No, bad kitty.
She has discovered a love for comics. She's been walking on the long boxes.
Oh, of course.
Every time we're down here.
She is your cat.
Naturally.
Yeah. All right, let's
we had an interview with David Byrne. Everybody, I hope you listened to it, and it was
great.
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah, we had it. Yeah, go check out the Kickstarter for Steak. It's still on for about a week. David's working real hard, helping other creators too, so go give him your love.
Support.
Marvel announced this week that they're canceling Deadpool solo series after Legacy.
Oh, thank God.
350. I know, Chris. No more worries. You can take it off your pull list. It'll. So here we go, and we'll replace it with a 3-issue series called Wolverine and Deadpools. Wolverines and Deadpools from writer Cody Ziegler and artist Rogi Antonio. Claws and Mutants, Mercs and Mouths, Deadpools, and Wolverines. What's better than the best there is partnered up with the Merc with the Mouth? How about adding daughters Ellie Camacho and Laura Kinney to the mission as they go up against classic X-villain Wolverines and Deadpools, baby. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a Deadpool book. And that's who you get, Wolverines and Deadpools, both of them on the covers. I have no interest in this book, but I'm sure people of Deadpool fan are freaking out about this. So,
well, yeah, Cody was the writer for Deadpool as well.
Yeah,
and I'm sure this has been building up in his Deadpool book.
Yeah,
and I'm sure when it's done, like next month, Mike, we're gonna get an announcement of the new Deadpool #1.
Yeah.
But
right. We'll see.
Not much to add. I think it's kind of a neat idea, though. Like there is they just introduced the female Deadpool, the daughter of Wade. They've had the female Wolverine for a while. 4-way team up. Let's go.
The big news. Well, there's a couple of big news, but Marvel announced new Marvel and Disney What If comic, and here we go, folks. It's What If Goofy became Spider-Man. From writers,
sold right there.
Yep, that's all I need to hear. Riccardo Secchi and Steve Belling with artist Francesco De La Polito. Goofy's amazing fantasy. Goofy becomes the amazing Spider-Man in a tale that's sure to make you say, "Gorsh." Goofy Parker must learn the ultimate lesson of responsible to save his beloved Uncle Ben, and wait till you see what he does to those Beagle Boys. Yuck. I love this. The classic cover.
Dude, they're all so good.
The variant covers are amazing. The one with the black and white. Oh man, these are really good.
But
the Scotty
my
Young,
favorite is the Scotty Young.
Yeah, the Scotty Young cover where he's totally making fun of Todd McFarlane.
Yeah,
with the spider webs. That is a Todd McFarlane cover for sure. But yeah, this sounds awesome. I can't wait to read this book. It sounds like a lot of fun.
These Disney What Ifs have been exactly that, a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and that's if you're coming for anything else, you're coming for the wrong thing. But yeah, I'll be excited to read this one.
Last piece of news here. Ahoy Comics, we haven't heard from in a little while, announced this summer will be the Toxic Mess Summer and feature new Toxic Avengers comics. First up will be the Toxic Avengers pinup special with a slew of acclaimed artists and writers contributing to one shot. Followed in June with Toxie Team Up miniseries, which will see Toxie team up with characters from across Ahoy Comics, like Jesus Christ, the Jersey Devil, Acid Chimp, Dragonfly Man, and Swamp Cop. Then alongside Toxie Team Up will be Ahoy's first ongoing series called the Toxic Avengers Comics from writer Matt Bohr as a new artist for each of the first 5 issues. This comes along with the news that Peter Dinklage, Toxic Avengers movie, will release this year, and that RetroWare is releasing a retro-style beat-em-up Toxic Avengers video game. So, if you all love Toxic Avenger, you're getting a lot of Toxic Avenger this year. This is crazy. Ahoy is like treating this like this big crossover event, which I think is awesome. I probably won't watch all of them or read all of them, but definitely the ones where like some of the books that I've read from Ahoy, I'll be reading them. I need to catch up on Toxic Avenger. I don't think I've ever seen the original movie, Chris, so I don't know a whole lot about the character.
Oh, that'd be yeah. I think Troma has their own streaming service too.
Oh,
if you need another streaming service,
cool.
For some reason the page isn't loading. I was gonna look up I think they stumbled into something, and I remember oh man, why am I zoning on the guy that runs Ahoy?
Tom Pyre.
Yeah, Tom Pyre. When we had him on the show last, and we were talking off air, and he told us that they had an IP and it was going to make sense when we saw it, and then it ended up being Toxic Avenger. And I remember thinking, like, yeah, that does make sense. And they kind of stumbled into this thing where they had a Toxic Avenger comic at a time when people were talking about the IP again, because the movie was in everybody's eyes and we thought it was coming out. And I'm sure it did well. And now it might be a, hey, let's double down and see what happens kind of thing. With the movie actually coming out, with a video game coming out, with this Trauma Resurgence that everybody's got.
It's the name's in everybody's mouth lately.
Yeah. I think Toxic Avenger is fun. I've never really read any of the comics. I'm with you though. The one I will read is Toxie teams up with Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's
100%. I will read that.
Yeah.
So good for them. I'm glad they got something that they firmly believe in or doing with. And it's just good to hear from Ahoy once again.
Yeah, good on them to have something big like this. And with that,
I would probably read Toxie and Acid Chimp because I just love Acid Chimp.
Yeah, Acid Chimp. Yeah. I need an Acid Chimp ongoing. Like, I don't even care about. I mean, My Bad is a great series, but more Acid Chimp.
Yeah.
All the time.
I need to email Mark just so we can pitch him on Acid Chimp book.
Yeah, please.
Mark, you're not promoting any of your books this week. We're just going to talk about Acid Chimp for 30 minutes.
Yeah, can we talk about that character? What do we read this week? So, Metamorpho number 4. This book's a lot of fun, a lot of slapstick. It's very akin to the Ahoy book, Dragonfly and Dragonfly Man. The giant building that they work in turned into the security system. Element Man had to fight it, and then the android lab within the building built this evil robot called the Thunderer, and he's going to come shut it. Like after they shut the building down, so it was like a failsafe. So it's just a robot they have to fight. But it's just like interactions with these fun characters, and just hijinks ensue. It's just like slapstick comedy stuff. Lucky Devils number 3. Did you read this one?
I didn't get to it yet.
Okay. Devils get promoted. They're going through their levels of promotion for their humans. They get to tier 4 and they get a surprise inspection. They're like, oh, we got to inspect how you're doing this. And then they're like, well, now we have to like, actually, they've been like kind of phoning it in and helping their humans get ahead. And what happens is like the guy, because they're a couple, the other devil kills the inspector. And they're kind of just living their life. And now one of the demons from like the 9 circles calls a meeting because he said he thinks something is up. Something's going down. So we're gonna get to see hopefully all the demons that live within the 9 circles of hell. It's gonna be sick. Absolute Green Lantern number 1. This is Al Ewing and Janoy Lindsay and the art. I'll say really interesting first issue. We like it, like literally starts after the ship crash with Green Lantern. You don't know the history of Green Lantern. Abin Sur crashes a ship. Not John Stewart. Hal Jordan happens to be there, gets the ring, becomes the Green Lantern. This is like, we don't really know what his first interaction with Abin Sur is. We see that like Hal's on the run. The police are chasing him. They stop him. He has this black mass on his arm that like reacts when he's in danger and like hurts other people. Abin Sur is around still. And the ships are like these giant. They're shaped like giant lanterns, just like horizontally. And it's kind of like crashed in town. Like one of the ships has crashed and like crushed a bunch of stuff. So like the news is like following the ship and everything. And then we know that Hal and John Stewart are friends. They all have like interaction. So we get this setting of like John Stewart, Hal Jordan, and the red-haired guy there, Guy Gardner. They're all friends, like in real life. And so at the end of the issue, John Stewart's daughter shows up, and she actually has like the Green Lantern ring and power. So there's something going on here. It's a cool reimagining. I think it was a good first issue. I'm going to stick with it.
So is because I'm confused. Because I remember on the cover, they showed a black woman with the ring.
Yeah,
is that his daughter?
Yes. Yeah, it's John.
Did you say Jon Stewart's daughter or
Jon Stewart's daughter? Yeah.
Oh, okay. In my head, I'm like, Hal Jordan's.
No, so there's a scene where he's sitting with Jon Stewart's daughter and Jon Stewart like in a cafe, and they're all friends and they talk about Guy Gardner. So she has the ring, and then Hal has this weird black mass on him. So it's interesting.
It's listed as a horror comic, which I find interesting.
So that's kind of how it's treated. This black mass on his arm, like somebody goes to attack him and he like obliterates them. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So yeah, you should check it out if you're curious.
Dude, I'm so curious about all these absolute books.
I know.
It's all comes down to money.
I'm reading them all. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I got to do it.
Trust me, the Martian Manhunter one is like calling my name, and I'm resisting. But yeah.
It's really good. They're all really good.
Yeah.
Absolute Superman number 6.
I did say that.
We get the origin of him in Smallville, and that was kind of cool to see that, like how they couldn't speak to each other and interact at first. We find out more about how there's a big company called Lazarus that's pushing these farms out, so a little more world building. We find out that somebody is working with Brainiac, and it happens to be Ra's al Ghul, who runs this Lazarus company.
So I was kind of waiting for that reveal.
Yeah. A lot of cool stuff in this issue. We get to see Smallville. We find out that Lois is tracking him down, is in Smallville. So some more world building here, and I thought it was a good issue to see Ra's al Ghul. I think that's a cool villain to have.
Yeah, obviously went a different way than we both predicted, but I really enjoyed the issue.
Yeah, we thought there'd be a bunch of like Kryptonians there, but
yeah.
JSA number 6. I have WTF, they killed my boy. This is the issue where they Wildcat gets stabbed in the heart and dies.
I'm glad I'm not reading this now.
Yeah, well,
that's some bullshit.
Yeah, it's really bullshit. There's a big fight that happens with the Injustice League. The other younger members are fighting because Wildcat, the female Wildcat, killed one of the guards. And they think that they should be retaliating because other Wildcat's dead now. But the Injustice Society basically gets the Helmet of Fate, which is like the last artifact that they needed. So we'll see what happens out of that. But I don't know if I can't imagine that Wildcat's going to be dead for long. So we'll see what happens. Hyde Street number 5, really good. Tensions are getting higher on the street with the Boy Scout, and we get the origin of the crazy shop lady who sells like the diet drugs and stuff. So that was kind of crazy to see that she was like a fitness instructor that like pushes some overweight lady to like die from like a heart attack. She's just a really big piece of shit. Like that's the moral of the story is that
everybody else on the street.
And so like Mr. X-Ray is trying to get this Boy Scout kid kicked out, and so we keep seeing that happening. Justice League Unlimited number 5, hell yeah. Inferno attacks at like a political summit, and we find out we finally get like a reveal that who was under one of the cloaks, and it happens to be Gorilla Grodd, which was sick.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Airwave guy who was undercover gets him out of the tower, and they end up getting to the Legion of Doom. So we find out that the Legion of Doom is behind this Inferno thing. Or at least that's what it seems to me, that they are Inferno.
Yeah, and they thought that. So it's funny to me because this takes place during the G20 summit.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you saw, Mike, but there's been a ad going around for a new Prime movie with Homelander called G20. Really?
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So this week was just like G20 summit all over my everything.
That's amazing.
Which I just thought was funny. But anyway, so they get there and then they get transported to this alternate dimension, which is what we found out Gorilla Grodd was doing.
Yep.
But the whole thing was that's who took Martian Manhunter's powers was Gorilla Grodd.
Gorilla Grodd
was awesome. A really cool reveal. Yeah, and then seeing seeing all the villains together again was great. I love how they like went out of their way to explain that it couldn't be them because this is what happened to this one, this is what happened to that one.
Right.
And they're like, no, fuck it, we're doing it anyways.
Yeah, we're gonna do it.
Yeah, I love.
Yeah, it was a great reveal. Seeing the Legion of Doom, it's been a really fun book. And then it starts this 6-part epic across Justice League and Batman Superman.
Yeah, which means I need to catch up on Batman Superman.
Yeah, so everybody's got to catch up on all the books. Adam Project number 4 was my last book this week. So there's a huge fight. The army is basically like, the Atoms couldn't handle it, so they bring in Major Force to fight Captain Atom, which was awesome. But we also find out that Captain Atom can also steal, copy, and transfer powers from metas, so it ended up being a bigger reveal than we thought. While he's fighting Major Force, he takes Major Force's powers from him. And before anyone steps in, Inferno shows up to take Captain Atom away, because the army's like, okay, we can get him, and it's like, no, Inferno wants him for something because he can transfer, copy, steal powers. That's why the army wanted him so bad, because they were going to start transferring and copying a bunch of Captain Atoms to make a bunch of weapons. So it was actually a really cool reveal. And then the fight with Major Force was awesome. Just two big bads fighting it out. It was a cool reveal. I'm really liking this book. And that's all I had this week.
All right, so a few I caught up on were Wolverine Revenge number 5.
Oh, I think I got to read that too.
Yeah, and it's the big fight between Colossus' son and Wolverine. Nice. And basically, Colossus, we're just going to call him Colossus, it's Colossus' son.
Yeah.
He pulls out a sword, and it's magic sword. So the big fight is them in purgatory fighting, and Wolverine pulls out this old tool that Forge used to get rid of mutants' powers and blasts it on himself and tells Colossus, you want your revenge, you can have it, because we both know with my powers you could never really kill me. And they have this big fight, and Colossus just guts Wolverine and leaves. And then the big reveal at the end is that Wolverine never really used it.
Oh.
He tinkered with it enough, and some comic book bullshit going on, so that Colossus thinks he got his revenge, was able to leave purgatory and go back home, and then Wolverine is still down there, and he's going to go and take on the big bad guy who is in control of everything and just take over. And that's kind of how it ends. It was a cool ending for a book that was just this action-packed nonsense blood gore fest.
Yeah.
I didn't expect some giant revelation or something
to come out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was kind of a cool twist that the revenge in the title was really Colossus's son's revenge more than anything.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think it's a really cool 5-issue series if anybody wants to check it out. I think it's done. I don't think they're doing any more. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong once before, Mike. What I'm not wrong about, though, is Superman number 24.
Hell yeah.
Short version is that it looks like Supercorp is actually turning evil, and we're prepping for issue 25 because it's a big anniversary number, so we got to do it. And while people still think Luthor is doing bad, somebody comes and arrests Luthor. We find out that the woman that was running Supercorp and worked with Luthor before Superman took over Supercorp has been slowly creating a clone of Lex Luthor that also has Talos powers behind the scenes. So that's the big reveal of the new Luthor who's coming back for issue 25.
Yeah.
So it was a cool reveal. It was a cool issue. There was some Lois Lane stuff in there too, but I love this Superman book so much. You talked about it last week, but I'll just go over Absolute Wonder Woman number 6. I loved all the hell stuff.
Oh,
Hades.
Yeah.
It was done really well. I love the flashbacks. It was a great issue.
Yeah.
Ultimate Spider-Man 15. We catch up with Spider-Man after the events of the Kraven hunt, where they kill Harry. So they're on the run, and they're living in this RV in the middle of the desert with a man who lives next to them, who is my new best friend, because he's the old man who believes every conspiracy theory and knows everybody in the neighborhood, and he believes that the people 5 RVs down work for the CIA.
Yeah.
So that dude is good drink.
That's awesome.
And Peter decides to, he's still stretching his legs as Spider-Man out in the middle of nowhere, but not really fighting crime, because who are you going to fight in the middle of the desert?
Right.
So him and his new teammate go out in the middle of nowhere and start swinging around. We find out that we knew in the last story that his son had bonded with what we think is the Venom symbiote.
Mm-hmm.
There's kind of hints that that's not what this is in this issue. He has the black suit like the old Spider-Man Venom symbiote would be, but I'm thinking it's some sort of Iron Man-esque like nanobot suit. Mm. Because if you remember, Harry had a lot of the old Iron Man technology, and that's how he became Green Goblin early on in the series. So I'm thinking that's what they're doing with that. So those two go out and they're teaming up. They end up running into a guy who is a giant sand kaiju, Sandman.
Sandman.
Yeah. And they fight Sandman.
Cool.
And to the point where they heal him. And then he's like, oh, I'm so thankful somebody came out and healed me. It's been forever and all this. And Peter's just like, well, next time you turn into a giant sand person, you could try just telling me that instead of punching me.
That might work.
And he's like, oh, yeah, like I think about that. So it's a really good issue. And I'll be interested to see where they go with this Spider-Man son thing and what's going on with that.
Yeah.
And then I have Daredevil, Cold Day in Hell.
Nice.
Which you might not enjoy, Mike.
No.
Because Daredevil doesn't show up to the last page.
Oh my god.
But there's a reason. So it takes place in the future. There's been some sort of like everybody's an old man. Daredevil's like in his 70s. And there was some sort of war between people of powers. And now we're living in the aftermath of that, where New York City's kind of a mess. Daredevil has lost all of his superpowers and is now just a blind man living in Hell's Kitchen, working for a soup kitchen. When something happens and he gets his powers back, some sort of terrorist attack happens with a bomb that's using the radiation that gave him his powers. He gets them back. He runs into Cap, who sacrifices himself to save somebody. And we find out that an old villain has been sending these terrorists to go around and collect the artifacts from the superhero age. So the first one they got was Cap's shield.
Nice.
And this person has the old disfigured body of Frank Castle just hanging in his office with his arms and legs cut off.
What the hell?
But still alive.
That's
and
crazy.
I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Bullseye.
That's awesome.
But they don't tell you, really. They give a name, but I feel like it might be a swerve. I really liked it. It's Charles Soule and Steve McNiven back on Daredevil. Cool. They did a lot of Star Wars stuff together. And and he's back in the suit in the last issue, so nice. The last page.
Sounds interesting.
And I did this for my Substack, but I read The Adventures of Kool-Aid Man #1.
Hell yeah.
Like, this is the wackiest shit I've ever read.
That's awesome.
A bunch of kids are playing a baseball game. Softball game, sorry. And that's when the evil Thirsties show up and ruin their time. So Kool-Aid Man has to bust through the wall and save the day.
Of course he does.
They then join Kool-Aid with no adult supervision. Join Superman, Kool-Aid Man in the Cool Copter.
Oh my god!
As they go to One Cool Man Lane, which is his fortress that's shaped like a giant Kool-Aid pitcher.
I love that.
Where he watches over people for Thirsty's activity.
What the hell?
They get a quick tour. They leave. They go back to do the championship game, where the Thirsties attack again. And their evil plans, Mike, they burn hot dogs. They stole second base.
Oh my god.
And then they made the field really hot.
That's awful.
This is their giant evil plan, where Kool-Aid Man comes and saves the day again.
Hell yeah.
The second story in the issue is basically the same thing, but it's in an amusement park. But a giant kaiju Thirsty shows up.
Oh my god, I love this.
And Kool-Aid Man shows up in his Cool Copter, creates a mirror image of him, like hollow projects himself as a kaiju using a mirror. How? We don't know. We just go with it. Scaring off the Thirsty back into the spaceship that's hovering around Earth.
That's what happened in the Godzilla vs. Fantastic Four issue.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they find some professor who has a spaceship.
Okay.
Who can't figure out how to get it to go into space. He's like, I can't get it to start. I can't get it to fly or anything like that. But Kool-Aid Man and these 4 kids figure it out. And the only explanation for these 4 kids being able to fly a spaceship into space, Mike, is that they've watched sci-fi movies.
Hell yeah. What else do you need, dude? Come on.
So they go up to space. They fight the Thirsties. They get onto the ship. The Thirsties attack him with the Thirst Ray.
Oh my god, I love that.
And when it hits Kool-Aid Man, he is immune to all thirst rays.
Of course he is.
So it just blows up, and they win. They then throw a party on Earth, and the professor's still mad because kids figured out how to use a spaceship, and he still can't figure it out.
Kool-Aid Man's OP. Awesome.
This is the wackiest shit ever. And throughout it, there's just like ads for Kool-Aid Man t-shirts and Kool-Aid Man merch and everything.
I love that. That's so
There's
funny.
even, I'll send you the page. There's a page of how to build your own Kool-Aid lemonade stand in your neighborhood.
God. I love that.
Yeah. That's
amazing.
Amazing.
That's gonna be comic of the year. What the hell?
So I'm gonna be reading these throughout the year for my Substack, and it's gonna be a blast. But yeah, that was everything I read this week, Mike. So where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on X/Twitter. Where can they find you and/or the show?
You can find me on X at Fortress Chris, and also on Blue Sky and Instagram and all that other crap that I don't post on. But you can find me there. And also at chriscomicscorner.substack.com. You can find the show on X and other social media networks at Fortress Pod or at fortressofcomicnews.com. And if you want a sports show, 5-star reviews for the podcatchers. Like, subscribe, share, comment down below on the YouTube version of the show and the interview. And go over to patreon.com/fortresscomics for more. Thank you all so much for watching and or listening this week. See you here next week.